we have the Nihilego, and we also have Solgaleo and Lunala out for the Solstice event. So I'm gonna make sure you guys know exactly what to do with all of these in Pokemon Go. So welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go. Before we get into the video, I have one announcement / correction to make on my last video. Okay, so I said that the research that is going to come out was going to be $5. However, what is happening is you will be able to get one for free, and then you will be able to get a second one for $5 if that's what you choose to do. So it's not all entirely paid, and that is going to be very good news. Okay, so for this video, we're going to check out the Nihilego, we're going to check out the Solgaleo and the Lunala to see what you guys should do with some of your Pokemon, and if you should trade them maybe to get one or the other. So let's start breaking it down with the Nihilego starting as spot number 1. So this is going to be a rock and a poison type. It maxes out at 4,465, so it is pretty high for the max CP. It has an attack of 249, a defense of 210, and a stamina of 240, so a pretty relatively even-keeled Pokemon here. However, the one problem is that it's going to be double weak to ground. It's going to have single weakness to water, steel, as well as psychic. It's going to be double resistant to poison, which is pretty cool here. Okay, so let's keep on moving with this Pokemon and see which movesets it gets. It does get Acid and Poison Jab for poison quick moves, as well as Pound, which is a normal move, and as far as its charge moves, it's going to get Gunk Shot as well as Sludge Bomb, and it's also going to get Rock Slide and Power Gem. Okay, so now let's check out this Pokemon to see where does it sit as far as its ER value, the best overall, and see if it's going to be useful in the rock or the poison category. Overall, the best moveset for this Pokemon is going to be Poison Jab and Sludge Bomb at 40.96. Not too much further behind is going to be the Acid and Sludge Bomb at 40.5. Then we have the Gunk Shot at 39.08. And then if we want to see the Poison Jab and the Rock Slide, which is the best moveset on this Pokemon for the rock move, it's going to be 38.75. Okay, so just looking at this Pokemon right off the bat, if we think about it here, rock moves, doesn't have a quick move that's a rock move. An easy option for us is to unlock a second charge move on this Pokemon and just put in Rock Slide there, as we do have a really good poison combination, and then we have the rock type. So now let's check out to see where this Pokemon does sit in the poison category, and then we'll check out the rock category, but just remember we can only use the second move as a rock attacker, and we'll see where it does stack up there. The number one poison in the game is not out yet, but the one in the game right now is Mega Beedrill at Poison Jab and Sludge Bomb at 41.77, followed really close by Nihilego, Poison Jab, Sludge Bomb at 40.96. And then next we have another Eternatus, not out yet, but the first overall budget counter is going to be Roserade at 34.93 with Poison Jab and Sludge Bomb, followed by the Shadowy Victory Bell and Shadow Vileplume, and then we have Overquill down there as well. So it is a decent amount above and beyond definitely that Roserade there. Okay, so if we're looking at for a poison category, we're already looking in a very good spot because this Pokemon is ahead, it looks good, and yes, it does take premium XL candy, but it is really one of the premier, if not the most premier poison type attacker because it's not even using a Mega. But now let's check it out in the rock category before we go further here. Okay, now looking at the rock category, on the first page we actually can find the Nihilego. So we have Mega Aerodactyl first, the Mega Blaziken, Shadow Tyranitar, Rhyperior, which is a budget counter up there really high at 40.77, Mega Aggron, Rampardos, all rock type 39, and then Nihilego right behind it at 38.75 with the Rock Slide, Terrakion, Tyrantrum, and Reshiram. So if we look at this Pokemon overall, we obviously have some rock types in there that are going to be better, Rhyperior being a budget counter that's really good, but if you are going to power up for the first one with the poison type and then unlock the second charge move, that would work out really well for this Pokemon. So it's already sitting really well here. And then if you want to multi-purpose this Pokemon, it's ranked 75 in the Master League with the exact same moveset that I recommend as far as a meta attacker goes. So I do have a 100% IV. I do plan to max one of these out at some point. I really like this Pokemon, especially because it's a viable poison type, and sometimes we do have double weakness to poisons that we can't exploit. But also just remember guys, if you don't need it right now, save onto it until it is time for when you do need it, because we don't know, we may not need it for another couple months. So spending all that Stardust up front right now when it's not necessary, if it's not going to fit into your team, then it wouldn't really make too much sense. But now let's check over into the Solgaleo and the Lunala just to see where we're sitting. And now the Solgaleo and the Lunala both max out at 45.70, so they are pretty high. They have an attack of 255, a defense of 191, and a stamina of 264, so they're actually really good Pokemon. As far as Lunala goes, it's a Psychic and a Ghost type here. It's going to be double weak to Ghost as well as Dark, which is a little bit problematic, but this Pokemon does get Confusion as a fast move, and it also does get Shadow Ball, Moonblast, as well as Psychic and Future Sight. So this Pokemon does get some really powerful movesets. As far as overall, its top performing moveset is actually going to be Confusion and Shadow Ball at 43.98, followed not too far behind at 42.21 with the all Psychic type combination, but that one does compete against Mewtwo in there. And then if we do check out the Solgaleo, this one is going to be Psychic as well as Steel type combination. Very unique combination, weak to 4 things, which are going to include Ground, Ghost, Fire, as well as as dark. So for the 4 total things, this Pokemon is actually pretty impressive overall, but the moveset is not super impressive. It gets Fire Spin and Zen Headbutt, Solar Beam, Flamethrower, Iron Head, and then it also does get Psychic Fangs as its charge move as well. So it's not really too set up to be a meta attacker, even though if it did have a right moveset on this Pokemon, it could be extremely strong here. Both of them could actually be very, very, very strong Pokemon in themselves just based on their stats. This Pokemon's #1 overall moveset is actually going to be Zen Headbutt and Iron Head at 35.96. Okay, so this Pokemon sitting by itself doesn't really stock up too much. It doesn't have any premier moves, although it is very strong. Unfortunately, we can't utilize it, but it could be good in PvP, which we'll check out here in a second. So now let's see, as far as Lunala goes, how does it stack up, because Shadow Ball being its strongest movesets in the Ghost category. Okay, so #1 overall, Mega Mewtwo Y, then Mega Mewtwo X, and then we have Mega Gengar first available in the game right now. Shadow Mewtwo coming in at Confusion Shadow Ball at 49.43, obviously extremely good. Then we have Mega Alakazam and Mega Banette, both with Shadow Ball, 47 and 45.53. Then we have Mega Gardevoir coming in next at 45.38, and actually the first available Pokemon better than Mewtwo is actually Lunala with Confusion and Shadow Ball at 43.98, outperforming the Mewtwo at Confusion Shadow Ball at 42.74. Okay, so this is already really impressive. So being that it is a Ghost type combination and it does get Shadow Ball, it will get that stab boost, which is probably why it is doing better than the regular Mewtwo, which is really, really impressive for this Pokemon. So I say, if you guys do have the option to choose one of the two, let's check out the PvP and then I'm going to give you my recommendation. So Lunala in the Master League is ranked 93 with the moveset combination of Confusion, Shadow Ball, and Moonblast, but let's not overlook Solgaleo. In the Ultra League, it's ranked 312, but in the Master League, it's actually ranked 4 with Fire Spin, Psychic Fangs, as well as Iron Head combination. So very impressive there from the PvP end, but make sure you do play with this Pokemon as well, because you don't want to power something up and then realize, oh, I don't really like this Pokemon. So what would I say to do for these Pokemon? #1, Nihilego. I like the Pokemon overall. Poison is not always the most useful, but it does come up useful as well, and I do have the 100% IV, so I'm excited. I do have a lot of Stardust as well. Overall speaking, if you have not so much Stardust and you're trying to figure out which is the best, I probably would not power up any of these Pokemon. A Mewtwo is, just as competitive as is Lunala. It's not going to take as much Premier XL Candy, meaning now you can't really even raid for this Pokemon. You actually have to like walk and battle and use rare XL Candies on that Pokemon, which is quite crazy. But beyond that, I really like that Solgaleo sits so well in the Master League. I wish it was a little bit more universal as a meta attacker, but unfortunately right now it is not. So that's going to do it right now. Recommend definitely Nihilego, raid for it. Lunala is the better of the two, I think. And then if you're really looking for a PvP Master League Pokemon, Solgaleo would do it just based on the 4 weaknesses and stuff like that. So choose what you want and let me know in the comments below what you plan to do. To all my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes your support, subscription, and participation to next level. I want to see you guys out in the next video. Peace. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.